Hey guys, I'm out here, it's kind of new bow day. Yesterday was technically new bow day for me. Second time shooting my new Samick Discovery ILF Recurve. This one happens to have the short limbs at 50 pounds, and shot it just a little bit last night while I was kind of retuning a arrow build that I built for my last bow. Actually, my last bow was I still have it. It's a Samick Verna hybrid longbow, so it's a reflex deflex longbow. That bow was 50 pounds as well, all one-piece bow, and I found myself really kind of wanting more performance-wise out of a traditional bow, and so that's kind of one of the reasons I stepped into the ILF game. Even though kind of not having an all-wood bow was a kind of strange thought or feeling to me. I didn't know if I'd like it or not. But one thing I did really like was the idea that a bow like this would be quite a bit more weatherproof and mostly a lot more tunable. And so I spent last night, UPS was kind enough to deliver this thing around 3 p.m. yesterday. I had a little bit of time to go through setting it up, and it's the first time ever having to set up an ILF bow, so I wasn't real familiar with it. But everything else, everything else is the same. Got brace height set. Obviously I put in some string silencers. These ones happen to be paracord ones. I really like those. And then got a knock point set last night. One thing I did that's interesting, I'm going to show this because I'm hoping this will help somebody else in the market for this bow. You can see I've got a strike plate here. This is actually the Hoyt Satori strike plate, and it's a through bolt design. I don't know if you can see that on there or not. Most people with these Discoveries, if they wanted to shoot off the shelf, they were mentioning that you need somewhere between like 3/16 and 1/4 inch of build out on the strike plate to do that. This bow was mostly designed to shoot off of an elevated rest. I've never shot an elevated rest, and coming from wood longbows and recurves, I just wanted to shoot off the shelf. That's what feels really natural for me. This worked out really well. It does require some modification. I had to file and sand off a bit of a horn, or a corner rather, on the back end here to get that to fit nicely on the riser, and I did have to thin out and bring up the bottom of that strike plate to conform to the shape of the Samick Discovery shelf. But you'll see I did go with the I think they call it muddy brown anodized riser, and boy, I really like it. I think it's a really nice looking bow. These are the carbon foam limbs, the R3 limbs from Samick. Again, they're the short limbs, and they're at 50 pounds. Very smooth drawing from what I can tell so far. I don't know, a few dozen arrows I put through it between last night and shooting a little bit here today. So without talking too much more, I will start shooting. I did want to show off this cool quiver bracket I made out of walnut. I did a bent lamination on this quiver bracket. So that's actually 5 strips, 1/16 inch thick a piece of walnut that I clamped into a form to make myself a one-piece kickback quiver bracket, so it gets the fletchings back behind the limb of the bow, and it also allows this Big Jim's quiver, which is a great quiver, by the way. Anyone who's not familiar with them, please check those out. Really great price point, around the $60 mark for one of their 2-piece quivers. He does sell a reflex, or a deflex bracket rather, for them. They're metal. I wanted to stick with wood, so I made my own, and it's working out quite well. So anyways, this bow does shoot way flatter than my Verna did. I owned the Verna for about 7 or 8 years, and I always really liked the bow, but I started the last year or two feeling like it just wasn't as efficient of a bow as it could have been. People have said that that bow is kind of a copy of one of the Black Widow one-piece longbow designs. That may be the case in terms of looks. It certainly doesn't perform that way. With this arrow build, these arrows are Black Eagle vintages. Right now I want to say they're cut to 28.5. I'm running a 100 grain brass insert and 150 grain point in them, 3-fletched with 4-inch shield feathers and arrow wraps. Right now these are coming out to about 450 grains. I do plan to build another set of hunting weight arrows for this bow, closer to the 550 mark. But man, these are flying really great out of it so far. I did have to stiffen them up a bit. I will probably have to do just a little more, but they do appear to be shooting or flying rather a heck of a lot better than they were. So without further ado, I'm going to drop some in at 25 here. Just see. Now the gaps on this bow are different than what I was used to. My point on distance with my Verna, and this arrow build at least, was 20 yards. This bow is zipping these arrows out there quite a bit faster. So what I'm finding is if I hold it the same hold that I had before with the other bow, in this particular instance at 25, I'm landing about 6 inches higher than that. So trying to readjust. Alright, we just had a train go through, so I stopped the video and gathered my arrows from the last group. I'm going to put a couple more down there and then wrap this up, and I'll show you the bow again, give you kind of my thoughts from the first, I don't know, 100 arrows through it. I don't know if you can tell from the audio, but this thing really is super quiet. My first arrow out of it last night, before I had even cut a little bit off to stiffen these arrows up or anything like that. I mean, I hadn't even set the tiller on the thing. I just wanted to loose an arrow out of it. It was dead on in a middle of a 4-inch circle at 20. So. I don't know, that tells me that this bow fits me pretty good. I'm pretty happy so far. Last one was a flyer, but the rest of that is a super respectable grouping for 25 on a brand new bow. Alright, so while this thing's got the arrows off of it, I'll get those in a minute. I'm going to give you another quick look at the bow itself. I don't know if you can see the whole thing in frame there or not. It's 60 inches. Give you a look at the logoing on the limbs. They are a nice matte black with very kind of subdued logos. I don't think there's anything on that bottom limb. Nope. There is on the back side of the bottom limb. So, I mean, overall, it's just very, very nice bow for the price. These come in with the carbon foam limbs. You're going to be right around the $500 price point. I ordered through Three Rivers Archery. It's one of my favorite places to order through. Lancaster being a close second to them, but Three Rivers is close, and they've always, over the last, I don't know, 13 years or 10 years, something like that, that I've been ordering from them, have never been disappointed. Really fast shipping, great customer service if you need to call them, and I highly recommend you do if you have any questions. They did include a string with the bow, as you would expect. It is a D97 string. Looks to be of good quality, no issues so far. So yeah, that is the Samick Discovery and how I set it up. That is how it shoots. If you're interested in this bow, or this has been on your list and you were thinking about whether or not you should pull the trigger, I, so far at least, am a huge fan of it. I'm very excited. We got my deer season opens in about 30 days or 25 days, something like that at this point, and feeling very comfortable with it already, and very much so looking forward to possibly harvesting a couple deer with this bow this year. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.